Hello everybody, and of course welcome once again to the ESPL Weekly Series number 5. I am your caster Briefcase. Along with me is obviously my co-caster Mito. Don't think that's ever changed this entire time. And we're into the second rung of these semi-finals. Division Game Club versus I want to say favorite team name I've seen yet, Bananas in Pyjamas. Obviously, Division Game Club has someone named Suitcase, and I am Briefcase, so there is some natural affinity there. But I gotta say, Bananas in Pyjamas was one of those shows I grew up with. Kind of hoping to see some niceness out of them. But like I was saying, Mito is here with me. Go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah, man. I thought your favorite team name was Bag of Chips and Pepperoni.
Oh no, but
apparently it's Bananas in Pyjamas.
I do really like that team name, and they do have a couple Canadians on them. But Bananas in Pyjamas now, I didn't see it before. Now it's here, and so I can switch. I can make new favorites.
And for those of you guys who don't know, right, Bananas in Pyjamas are actually the Panthers from last week. They did get into the finals, and this time they've got the sweet revenge on Mongols, whom they lost to last week. And Briefcase, how do you feel about your brother playing on the other side? Like, your favorite team is Bananas in Pyjamas, but then Suitcase is playing for Division Game Club.
I know. Well, I can tell you that already I'm a little bit unhappy with Division Game Club, banning out the Ember Spirit. Ugh, man, I just want to see him get played this tournament. He's brand new in Captain's Mode. I want to see those interactions. I want to see a little bit of some craziness. You know, throw down an Ember Spirit, put a mag on that team, give them Empower, and make those Sleight of Fists just that much more damaging. Give them something like Alacrity as well with a huge amount of Exhort, and just make them do obscene amount of damage with every one of those. But he's not in the pool, so guess we'll just have the normal heroes.
Yeah, all you need is 5 Divine Rapiers and 1 Slash. That's a team fight right there. And then the other team just buys a bunch of Flame Mails. Every time you slash, you die. So, Ember. Ember honestly is just a brilliant hero. Like, I think if Division, right, if they had the first pick, they wouldn't have banned the hero. Instead, they would go for the pick. But it seems so far in this particular week not series number 5, everyone is loving that Nature's Prophet. Such first pick material stuff.
Oh yeah, and we've also been seeing quite a lot of Invokers since his recent change, which I mean, he was actually nerfed and buffed in, kind of evening things out as far as which build do you go, and now he just seems so versatile, so mobile as well, and honestly a lot funner to just play, I think, because I don't know about you, but I've played Quas Wex, I've played Quas Exhort, and I have to say Quas Wex always just, for me at least, feels way more fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Division Game Club, the last 2 picks are like Puck and Lifestealer. Then they have everything they're looking for. Puck lane does nicely against Invoker. You can't get those cold snaps, you can't get those EMPs. At the same time, Puck can always harass the Invoker, has better rune control capabilities. And then you've also got the good setup for Lich, where you can just put down the Dream Coil and then let the Lich ulti bounce around. And Puck and Furion, both great carriers for Lifestealer as well. And with Bane and Shadow Demon being removed from the pool. Oh, okay, so it's gonna be a Storm Spirit. Interesting. It's still gonna get the job done. Bananas in Pyjamas, wouldn't be surprised if they removed the Lifestealer. But that's just really great ganking potential from Division Game Club so far. And instead, Bananas in Pyjamas realize, hey, we're not gonna win in terms of, say, like, getting the pickoffs. They have the ability to do so as well, but they're opting to go for the big team fight like we've seen before when they played against the Mongols. Man, do you still remember, like, having the Puck, Dream Coil, Lifestealer, Bomb, Darkseer, Vacuum Wall? Oh. So this is definitely a team that can make those combos happen and work. So, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, here's hoping.
But I am surprised.
About
Nobody is using the Naga Siren. Like, that hero is ridiculous.
There's still time. There's still time. Bananas Pyjamas could obviously still pick her up, and I think make it work if they really needed to. And at the moment, Bananas and Pyjamas, yeah, they have some pretty sweet team fight. I'm a little bit worried about the split push capabilities, obviously, coming out of Nature's Prophet, and the fact that they don't have a good way to really take care of them. Maybe you get a nice Moonlight Shadow and get lucky, but beyond that, like Storm Spirit, one of those heroes that's really quite good at dealing with Nature's Prophet on his team, so that's going to be quite difficult in and of itself. And like you were saying, Division Game Club, with a nice bit of ganking potential, Bananas and Pyjamas, yeah, you have Darkseer with Surge. That's not too bad. Still going to be having a tough time, though. Visage might as well just be food, I feel. But Mirana and Invoker, this should be okay, but if they ever do get dust, it feels like Invoker might be having a pretty hard time in and of himself. They do ban out the Lifestealer, I think, quite wisely as well, and I'm really just interested to see who each of these teams picks up as a hard and fast carry, because, I mean, Mirana probably going to be running that way, getting quite a bit of farm, along with Invoker, with, you know, Darkseer and Visage doing what they can, but I'm not too sure exactly who either of these teams is going to pick up now that Lifestealer is out of the pool.
Bananas, I would love to see a Naga Siren. Sure, Naga Siren games usually are long and drawn out, but it fits. It just does. Sure, you're not gonna like lock down the storm, but in terms of split pushing, Nature's Prophet is gonna have a hard time dealing with it. Support Lich and Rubik, they're not gonna sustain to a Naga Siren Illusion army. Division Game Club with the Lifestealer gone. Oh, they go for the Viper.
Ooh, and there is that more gigantic team fight. But like you were saying, I would have been A-okay with a Naga Siren as well, just because of the immense power of that Naga Song setup that they could have done. You know, that's a direct EMP, basically EMP Tornado Meatball if they ever want to do that. Not to mention big amount of vacuum and all that. But I digress. Let's get into who's actually playing who. I'm going to take DGC. I'm thinking Shad going to be this Viper. Crystal Cross as the Nature's Prophet. Phoenix going as this Lich. Perez Dota as the Rubik with, I'm liking how he's looking right now. And then, of course, my main man, Suitcase. Ooh, that's what I like to see as far as the name is concerned. Mito, do you want to take Bananas and Pyjamas?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'm going to start with the name that you kept on mispronouncing. So it's going to be TJ on the Mirana carry. Yeah. Shiny going to be the support Sand King.
I thought it was actually TI. I thought that was the issue.
Yeah. And Sand King, wow, he's already started with the boots, so he's going to be moving very fast, and he's going to have a much easier time getting the Burrow Strike off. People are going to be on the other support, and he's going to be playing the Visage. Senior Hydra, looking to be our mid-solo Quas-Wex Invoker. And finally, we have Chris going to be playing on the offlane Darkseer. So, yesterday we've seen some really nice combos between, say, Chris, Senior Hydra, as well as Shiny. And this time, I'm hoping that Chris and Shiny can continue to bring the big combos. Vacuum into Epicenter, Burrow Strike, War, I don't know, EMP.
Yeah, throw down an EMP, get a meatball in there maybe. That's what I'm really hoping to see. Not enough meatballs. Not enough. Just not quite enough for me.
You need to go to an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, that's true. Have you ever seen those, like, I feel like meatballs is one of those things that can be so inconsistent. They can be as big as your fist or like these tiny little things.
Oh, have you tried like those Chinese meatballs, like they call? I have no idea what it's called in English, but it's something along the lines of like lion's head or something.
No.
And yeah, they are the size of your fist, but they're so good and juicy. But yeah, back in the game.
Yeah.
So rune is gonna spawn top. Oh, it's gonna be a region rune.
Ah, that's dead.
And Shiny. Yeah, just denies it.
Oh yeah, right away. And
don't want any trouble.
I mean, right off the bat, Bananas and Pyjamas off to an early lead. Mirana has that one Trent kill, so that's gonna mean a lot, obviously.
Oh, I love these treants. It's so. All you need is a little bit more decoration. You have a Christmas tree.
Oh yeah, exactly. And as far as these lanes are concerned, how do you feel about them? It seems like this bottom lane for DGC gonna get pushed into the tower just tremendously. Obviously, you have Lich constantly sacrificing those creeps to get it back to the tower. Not to mention the fact that Darkseer with the Ion Shell always goes back to the tower anyways. So just looks like Kriz always going to be not in danger of anything because he's going to have Surge. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants. But, I mean, Crystal Cross and Phoenix going to get as much experience as they could ever really want. As far as the mid is concerned, however, I mean, it's just going to be pretty even for a little while, I feel. And clearly that's the way it's panning out as well. As far as the top is concerned, they have blocked this camp just full and wholeheartedly. Perez Dota does have a sentry available, and that's an easy D ward if I've ever seen one. Not too sure that they have any other way to ward it up. No, they don't. But it still looks like this tri-lane doing its job. I mean, it's zoning out Shad, this Viper. It's zoning out Perez as well. So right now, looks like Bananas and Pyjamas in a good position.
Oh my god, I don't know if you noticed it. If you look at these flags, right, you're looking at Pyjamas.
Yeah.
Oh,
right? Oh,
that
baby.
is just awesome.
That's
I
what
haven't
you
noticed
want.
it before. Oh, wait, engagement at top.
Oh, right away, and there's the arrow on Shaw. Doesn't last its entire duration, not the end of the world, but they do have a stun. Looks like a leap, and that's going to give everybody just enough movement speed to probably finish him off, and yes, indeed, they do. So, with that recent change to leap, really helping out right there. Obviously, that change I'm referring to is that it gives the movement and attack speed to where it lands, not any longer from where you jump from. So, working out pretty nicely in this tri-lane. I mean, doing its job quite well right now. Perez trying to go tit for tat with Kipo. Shouldn't be there right now. Arrow with Burrow Strike guaranteed to land there as well. And this looks like Bananas and Pyjamas coming off to a very nice little early lead there. And I wouldn't even say that they're getting less out of the rest of this map as well. Invoker's going tit for tat in the mid. I guess losing out ever so slightly to Suitcase. And as far as the bot is concerned, Darkseer, if he's not getting good farm there, he's just going to go in and jungle with level 2 Ion Shell. I mean, he's just doing fine. Can even get a bit of rune control if he wants to.
Yep. But once the EMP starts coming out, right? Like right now he's only got one level into the Wex. And look at it. Suitcase is going to be completely out of mana. But the bottle is coming in, so it's a very awkward timing for Senior Hydra to be using the EMP Cold Snap combo. But at top, DGC, they're just in so much trouble. This combination between Visage, Sand King, as well as Mirana, it's just like...
What do you do?
They're not going to be able to survive through. Yeah, exactly. Rubik, even with the lift, being one of the good babysitting laning heroes, isn't going to be able to do that much. Perhaps if they had a Witch Doctor instead, then it would have been a much nicer tri-lane for them.
Oh yeah, and obviously nothing as fun as watching a Witch Doctor. Look at it go, obviously. And I mean, some nice lane control just coming out of Bananas and Pyjamas anyways. Pulling the creep wave all the way down, trying to make sure that this pull never happens. Still hasn't actually been de-warded yet. I suppose realizing that even if they did, they can't rightly pull it very well simply because Burrow Strike is there with Grave Chill and Soul Assumption and throwing out an arrow. You're almost never safe anyways. And then it looks like Kriz, he's doing fine, all on his lonesome in the jungle, doing not too badly there, whatever he can in the lane whenever he wants to as well. And now it looks like Shiny gonna be picking up a haste rune. Maybe, is he gonna? Oh, it looks like they can't decide just yet who to give it to, but gonna be picking it up. Actually isn't gonna go into the mid and make it anything happen there. Instead, gonna once again try and find a kill up top. And I mean, they are poised and ready to make something happen here.
Yeah, but with the good warding from DGC, they know exactly what the Sand King has.
Doesn't matter, man. Perez
this is
getting
very
completely
weird.
caught out. Kipo's there, arrow flies, doesn't quite land, doesn't need to even, and Soul Assumption is enough to take down that very squishy Rubik right now. Only level 2, only has 20 strength, 530 HP, and if you look at that, the levels are just starting to pile up, and the experience is starting to pile up for Bananas in Pyjamas, and they're just having a terrific time right now.
That was really weird. I mean, they knew the Sand King has the Burrow Strike, knows that he has the Haste Rune, but why would the Rubik rotate in that particular direction?
I don't know, pretty odd.
Yeah. And now that Suitcase is level 6. They're gonna be relying on the Storm to help them out a little bit more, to come back from the kind of deficit they're in.
Oh. Crystal
Oh,
Cross,
oh.
Doesn't get out of there. So sorry, missed the first bit of that, but at the very least caught the tail end of it. I just never expect a Nature's Prophet to get a kill on a Darkseer, pretty much ever. Obviously, I suppose you do have that Sprout, and now that he's hit level 6, has Wrath and Nature, but it wasn't used. As that's happening, Perez Dota once again caught out. Where's that Soul Assumption? Suitcase trying to make something happen. A Sentry finally does go down. They at the very least trade one support for a support. Not too good at the moment. They throw down that EMP, doesn't quite land, does land on Phoenix, however. Suitcase, though, throwing down quite a bit of damage, finally does Ghost Walk out of there, and with no sentry available, at the very least, Senior Hydra going to be getting out of here alive. Kriz trying to do a bit of work, and now, once again, that Sprout just demolishing him. Having to bottle charge, but that is a lot of hits, barely living through it. The stout shield really coming through for him right there. And DGC, they're pulling it back at least a little bit. Even this early on, you see that Bananas and Pyjamas having a pretty nice lead, and with that recent little engagement, at the very least, DGC pulling it back a smidge, a tad, a very small amount.
Oh, and Suitcase, now he has a regen rune. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing this Storm. He's gonna be ready. He should be carrying a TP, but with the rotations that's gonna come out from this hero and the kind of follow-ups they have, like a global Furia, and just be able to come in at any point in the fight. BIP, Bananas and Pyjamas have to start grouping up, and yeah. This is like the trialing they're putting on. Sure, it's doing quite nicely, but as DGC starts shifting the heroes over to the top lane, VIP has to be ready.
Oh yeah, and Perez Dota, I mean, he's clearly knows that he is in a bad spot to be right now, constantly having to hang so far back right now. And TI now, it is TI, right?
TJ.
Is it TJ? I thought we said TJ before, and you said that was wrong. Either way, it looks like we're probably going to have an engagement on Senior Hydra. Suitcase pops the regen, but doesn't get there quite in time, and of course Phoenix now showing off that he is here. Not going to be landing any Frost Blasts anytime soon. Also, Kipo, smoke does indeed go up for him, trying to maybe bait something out. Look, there's only 2 of us. No, in fact, there is 3. Shiny can't quite get in within range, and now TP support coming in. Shiny in a horrible bit of trouble. Going to be falling to the Viper Strike, and that ult right there. Kipo now in a bit of trouble as well. Going to be falling, and this is the problem, is that Crystal Cross can always come in and make this, you know, one man more powerful in every single engagement, and Suitcase just happened to be there. So all 5 heroes up top. Of course, that does leave Senior Hydra to farm, does leave Chris to farm, but you're getting 2 kills and starting to neuter this tri-lane at least a little bit.
Yeah, Shad is starting to get a lot more space than he initially started with, and once again, those are the rotations that you would be expecting with DGC's lineup to make. So if you're gonna run aggressive trialing, make sure you never dive to towers.
Senior Hydra, and maybe a little bit of a dicey situation. Double damage is popped by Suitcase. Doesn't have quite enough mana to really do too much with it. Anyway, Senior Hydra pops the Ghost Walk. Does have 1 EMP available now. Getting dusted doesn't really matter. And both teams realizing that maybe a little bit too dicey of a situation for either of them to really go in and take Lich. Phoenix not quite level 6. If he had been, that might have been a different story, but still doesn't quite have Chain Frost.
They're just gonna continue to farm up the mech for the Doxia, and once he gets the mech and joins the team fights, that should be doing a lot for his team. Looking at DGC, they don't have the mech coming anytime soon, so if they do take the team fight, they should have the upper hand.
Ooh, now it looks like
and
Shad.
now we have Iron Shelled up, Shiny.
Yeah. It's getting shinier and shinier, I have to say, but with that creep wave getting pushed that far back to the tower, going to be quite a difficult kill to get. As that's all happening, though, TJ, he's just been pot-shotting this tower up top all day long, and it's actually getting quite low for pretty much no contestation at the moment. Obviously, you have Crystal Cross who can throw down that ult, make things happen, and now they know that Shad is actually over here, so he's in a bit of trouble. There's that Ion Shell doing quite a bit of work. No Epicenter, obviously, only level 4 Vacuum, and it looks like they just can't quite do enough damage, but finally the double Ion Shells, enough to polish him off. As that's happening, Mirana TJ gets a free tower for pretty much nothing. Not too sure about that. Even 1 TP to get in there, maybe a deny, and it just looks like Crystal Cross, at the moment, didn't have enough mana or HP to go in and contest anywhere. Looks like Senior Hydra, though, getting engaged upon, but Ghost Walking. This here, however, doesn't quite have 6, so Senior Hydra going to be throwing down that EMP. Not quite enough. Does Shiny have a stun? Not quite available yet. Suitcase, actually, instead of guaranteeing the kill, opts to get out of there. Perez, though, he did indeed fall. Or I shouldn't say Perez fell because you did have Crystal Cross there anyways. Arrow flies. Crystal able to evade it at the very least. Just waiting for that teleportation to get out of there. As that's happening, the engagement has ended in the mid. And now TJ trying to find him. Doesn't have Leap. Only has Moonlight Shadow. Crystal Cross. 9 seconds. 8 seconds. 7 seconds still. He's running around, and now one tower hit the creeps. See him. Oh, and it is the creeps that are saving this day, giving that tower all the vision it could ever want, and a little bit of an unfortunate end for this Nature's Prophet. Did pick up a kill, did help out, but paid with his life nonetheless.
Well, with that kill, even though he died, he bought the Dagon 1 recipe, so that's a lot more burst coming out of Nature's Prophet, and the pick-off potential just went up even more. And if Storm Spirit decides to go for a Dagon as well, which I don't think he is, because he already has a Robe of Magi, most likely going to be the traditional Orchid Storm. Orchid being the most popular item on Storm Spirit ever, so... yeah. Nothing much to add there.
No, I was gonna say just, oh yeah. Epicenter, though, is finally available for Sand King. He's got level 3 Burrow Strike as well. It definitely seems like Bananas and Pyjamas finding the levels that they need. Kriz is getting fairly close to that mech, only about 500 gold away from that sucker at the moment. And Senior Hydra is definitely leveling up at a nice pace for himself, not to mention TJ as well. They have Moonlight Shadow. He's almost got Arrow maxed out. He's got Starstorm maxed out right now. And so, I mean, you know, give them maybe 2-3 minutes more, and they can start making these big team fights, 5-on-5 fights happen. And I think almost unanimously, barring some big Chain Frost RNG that goes their way, it feels like they're going to be having a really good time. Looks like Shad now trying to make something happen with Kriz, and just making as many leaves show up as humanly possible. No stun available. Where's that Dagon? Can't quite finish him off, and he does get home in time.
Bottom.
Yes, indeed. It looks like there's the Chain Frost. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. Not the end of the world. They are able to polish off Suitcase. TJ so incredibly close to falling, but is able to get out of there just in time. And as that's happening, looks like Invoker in the mid. Just continuing to farm up, doing whatever he can. So some engagements going all around, but you trade a Storm for a Sand King, it looks like, and I guess that's about it, really. So, I mean, a good trade coming out for Bananas and Pyjamas right now.
Yeah, so Bananas and Pyjamas, what I've noticed about them is they're very efficient in getting the items they need. So Chris, he's only about 200 gold away from that mech.
Oh, he's going to get it, like,
King.
right now.
Yeah, Sand King is going to get a Blink Dagger under 20 minutes, and that's all you expect from, like, a Sand King. You know, you need that Blink Dagger pre-20 minutes, so that once you get into mid-game, you can make those big impact. For example, right now, if DGC continues to push and hit a Blink Dagger, he can just hide in those trees, channel the MP, blink in. And so they take turns farming, and this is what I love about this team. They're just, like, no one is getting really left behind in the sense that, like, everyone is finding something somewhere.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I mean, Shiny, yeah, he's doing pretty much every single person on the team is farming quite nicely, maybe barring the Visage, but he really doesn't need too much, and with somebody else obviously carrying the mech, the Darkseer, things going to be doing A-okay, and there's the mech finally. So with that mech and the fact that everybody's kind of hitting their stride, almost getting to be level 11, they can start really forcing these team fights out and basically taking any single one they want. Not quite a blink yet, doesn't really matter. In comes Chris, vacuum, quite a big one, only gets a little bit of a wall. Perez with absolutely no mana. Soul Assumption actually doesn't quite land because of that tornado. Oh, Shiny just barely missing out on that easy kill out of Cross. And Phoenix doesn't quite have enough for Chain Frost right now. 30 seconds left until he can actually cast that. Viper nowhere to be seen yet. It looks like they just want to force this issue, and there's that mech coming into play, not to mention the Ion Shells, the fact that they have Tornado EMP always available, and this is what we're talking about. As soon as they get that mech, they know it's time to group up. They know it's time to push, and DGC not in a really good way right now to try and stop that from happening. Shad, he doesn't have his own mech available. Perez is just has finally hit level 6, but doesn't quite have any itemization. Crystal Cross does not have the best pushing build at the moment, hasn't gone for a Necro, instead for a Dagon, and then you obviously have Storm Spirit, who just doesn't quite have, he's actually a very far away indeed from hitting that Oblivion Staff, and now Phoenix in a heap of trouble. Perez melting immediately. Shad can't do too much besides poison every single person who hits him. Suitcase trying to do his very best, and is doing quite a bit of work, but now it's flying versus flying. Shad versus Kipo. It looks like Shad losing that one, and then a nice little stun coming out of Shiny as well to guarantee that kill on the Storm Spirit. As that's happening, Crystal Cross can't really do too much. Was in the back throwing out a Dagon, but beyond that, and now with this 15-minute Blink Dagger on Shiny, they can just continue to force these issues, continue to make all these team fights happen, and with the way that their lineups are, I mean, I gotta give the advantage to Bananas and Pyjamas to a pretty big extent. They are just made for team fighting.
Yeah, and it's very, very hard for, say, DGC to do this split pushing. Because when you only have the supports defending, right? Even a Rubik or Fable, that's traditionally not bad. You know, like you can draw away the creep wave. But with Sand King having that Blink Dagger and then having the Surge on the Darkseer, and then you also have the ultra long range tornadoes coming out from Senior Hydra, you need more than just the supports to defend. Otherwise, whenever they try, they're just gonna get picked off. Your only other option is to trade towers. And I suppose this is an option they should explore a little bit more until that Viper gets the mech. Still 500 gold away, but and I can understand why Nature's Prophet went for the Dagon, but like it works well in conjunction with Suitcase on the Storm Spirit. They can just get pickoffs left and right. But what do you do against a team that just groups up and push? You gotta start getting those counter pushing items, or like getting the pushing of your own. And down at bottom, Suitcase is ready to go
Suitcase
on
right onto TJ. Does actually get the pull in. It looks like some massive TP support coming in. Crystal Cross trying to get out of here just in time, but of course a tornado will be able to stop that one. So they're trading, not ever getting a free meal in this game at all. Had to dedicate 2 heroes to that. Now Storm Spirit has to run for his life. And you're trading a Nature's Prophet for Mirana. I mean, I suppose pretty even overall, but still not getting absolutely nothing for free. Maybe quite a few, maybe too many TPs coming in out of Bananas and Pyjamas, but not the end of the world. And of course, I just want to say hello, everybody, and a shout out to all of you who have shown up. We're sitting at about 700 viewers, and I want to say that that's from Dota Lounge. Nobody has informed me yet, so please let me know where you're all from, and I'll give you a little hey.
Oh, so now we have a pause. There's a little bit more time to think about what's happened so far. So that was some massive TP rotations down a bot. And because the Furion died, they couldn't capitalize on the top tier 1 tower. Viper alone just can't do very much in terms of pushing. But he is fairly close to the mech. So hopefully by the next fight, DGC, they will start having their team fight show a little bit more. I would say though, I would prefer to see a BKB on the Storm more than the Orchid. I might get flamed for this, but it's just a personal understanding. He has 5 kill, 2 death, 3 assists right now, and he's gonna have a 20+ minute, say, Orchid. But in a team fight, when there's so much going on, and your team relies on you to make that initiation to go in, or actually you don't have to make the initiation, but you gotta be ready for when BIP, like Bananas and Pyjamas, jumps in. What DGC need is that BKB Storm to just roll in, bait out all the skills, you know, like turn on the BKB so they can't do anything. They drop other skills, nothing happens, you just roll back out, and then your team re-engages. Then I would say that would be a better moment for them. But right now, if Suitcase continues to go for that Orchid, they are not looking to team fight. Which is okay, I suppose, but then again, your supports are not the kind that can deal with a 5-man push.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, you can throw on a Chain Frost to slow everybody down and try and take a team fight that way, but beyond, you can't really do too much. And yeah, like you were saying, sure, if you finish off the Orchid as a Suitcase, you're looking for those pickoffs, you're looking to find things, but by the time that is done, 3 minutes or so time, like you were saying, I mean, they are just going to be steamrolling down whatever lane they want to, and Bananas and Pyjamas are really just going to be commanding wherever they want to play. And if they just go five-man Dota, which, I mean, why not? You have the way superior team fight. That Orchid is going to fall off. Sure, you can take out Invoker, or you can take out... Basically, you can take out any of them, because they all have such high impact abilities. But that's just 1 out of 5. Everybody else has these high impact abilities as well. If you take out the Sand King, sure, no Epicenter, but then you obviously have Invoker doing what he does best. If you take out Darkseer right away with the stopping the wall and vacuum, who cares? You still have Sand King with the Epicenter doing his job. And then you probably don't want to target Visage, obviously, but then he's
engagement at mid.
He's just cannoning. Yeah, oh, he's gonna get out of there. He's just gonna cannon Soul Shumpsons left, right, and center. So, I mean, doesn't really seem to make sense if you're going for an Orchid. Just seeing the lineup that Bananas and Pyjamas is running right now.
Yep. Oh, so right now, GoGraph, XP Graph. Yeah, GoGraph. Heavily in favor of BIP, I would say. XP Graph, not so bad. DGC, they have been fighting their pickoffs. So I'm loving it. Crystal Cross starting to rotate, starting to go for that Necro Book. So he's gonna start having the push power, and I love this transition of builds from Nature's Prophet, going from that early game gank heavy pick off hero to that split pusher during the mid game phase, and he does have a lot to offer as a Nature's Prophet for his team. He can buy so much time for his teammates to farm, because if you get a good split pushing going, then it forces the enemy team to split up as well. They have to send someone to go and defend the tower, and when they do,
Phoenix, you're far too far forward and gonna be getting caught out before he can do a single thing. There was a smoke that went down for Bananas and Pyjamas to set that up, but even without it, you just have Senior Hydra ghost walking around. They get a pick off, and I mean, that pretty much guarantees a tower. The Chain Frost, pretty much the only deterrent I can think of, really, to deal with any sort of push or any sort of team fight, and with that down, they're just free to do whatever they want.
And Senior Hydra, he almost has an orchid of his own. And he's just moving so fast across the map. But Crystal Cross, knowing that the whole team's rotating over, he's just gonna TP out of trouble and start pushing bottom. And this is what a Furion does, and he's doing a pretty good job so far. But he needs to get the momentum going. He needs to start taking towers, helping his team gain some ground, help the supports gain some additional gold.
Oh yeah, he is keeping up the pressure though quite nicely, and that's exactly what you want a Nature's Prophet to do. But I mean, it's not like because they're team fighting or five-man doting that Bananas and Pyjamas is actually losing out on farm or experience. They're still finding a ton of it. Like TJ, he's just finished off his Manta, going to be making pushing all that much stronger. The extra damage coming out of that. They know, in fact, it looks like. Yes, what is it, my friend?
This is a great time for DGC to go for a kill. So many of the
Invoker. Oh, throws out a tornado, actually lands, but Senior Hydra in a heap of trouble. In run Shiny, sort of a bait. Senior Hydra, though, barely able to live through this. The mech not able to quite save him. They do finally find a Shiny, so getting a couple kills now for their troubles. Not too bad by any means. Both of them going to the Viper as well, so that is pretty nice right there. And now it just looks like Bananas Pyjamas, they can still defend this, obviously, because of those big team fight abilities that they have, but still, they're missing out on their big initiations, and that's something to worry about.
Yeah, what happened was the moment VIP had 3 hero TP
Chris finally gets in there. He has a blink dagger of his own, it looks like, and then with that, a wall goes down. There's that crystal, or I should say, Chain Frost going down. Actually, not landing on a single illusion. A bit unfortunate. They're trying to find Phoenix, can't quite find him at the moment. Are able to polish off a Nature's Prophet though, so not too bad. They get 1 for their troubles, but still though, not the sort of numbers that they're hoping for. But even with him down, they know that they can kind of go in, force issues, push, and probably even make something happen on this top tier 2, I should say, with this big creep wave coming in. They got a catapult, lots and lots of these ranged creeps as well. And I mean, with Nature's Prophet not knocking on anybody's door at the moment, now you do have Storm coming in, trying to find something happen, but big stuns coming out. The arrow flies, can't do a single thing, and oh, he gets that Orchid, but that's where that BKB might have done quite a bit more.
Yeah, that was a good call from DGC down at mid though, earlier. Like I was saying, because there were 3 TPs down at bot, they knew it was their opportunity to engage at mid, and they did get some of the trade-offs, which was pretty decent. But then Chris, with that blink dagger on Darkseer, just like turned everything around. That 4-man vacuum wall just did so much for them, and now they're gonna continue to push it for the tier 3.
I mean, they really can. There's almost nothing that it feels they can stop them. Storm isn't here to initiate. It just feels like DGC a little bit neutered in how they can actually start a fight right now. Phoenix also doesn't have Chain Frost for a whole other minute after this, and those Mirana Illusions doing what they can. So they get a bit of chip damage on the tower. At the very least, they take about 1/3 of it away, a little bit more than that, and are happy to just retreat. They've gotten some good damage on it, and then obviously they can just go and protect this bottom tier 1 if they want to. The Necro, though, has come out by Crystal Cross, obviously, going to be trying to work at that more and more, and really basically give nothing away for free. Take towers whenever he possibly can. He's been quite diligent at forcing those TPs out and trying to protect everything. But I don't know. It just seems like Bananas and Pyjamas starting to almost steamroll right now.
Well, I didn't really like what the Furion did there. He should have sent 1 Treant to pull away the Radiant Creep Wave, and that would have inflicted a lot more damage on the tower than just like what it's standing at right now. 583 HP for the tier 1 tower down a bot.
Oh yeah, not the end of the world, however, and they do see Crystal Cross now going in. Tornado flies, that is a long-range tornado. Is it max at the moment? Wex almost 1 point away. If it had been 1 point more, maybe it would have landed, but now Crystal Cross able to just get out of there, farm wherever he wants to. It now looks like a smoke has gone down. They're going to need some rotations, obviously, to polish up these folks on the bot here because they just simply don't have enough. Suitcase does have an Orchid, so he's going to be able to take one of them out, and if TJ happens to stay here, they might not, but they are actually going to clash into the jungle. They see him immediately. It looks like Shiny getting a stun off at the very least, immediately gets silenced, and now Phoenix can't quite get a Chain Frost off at all. Nice little stun by Perez, though. Does get the Burrow Strike, lands on two. Crystal Cross trying his very best to make something happen as well. TJ is not there to continue, however, and Suitcase now just doesn't want to go through this wall at all. And now, with two dead, some of their best team fight abilities down as well. They're going to go down, maybe try and push this, but of course you have Invoker running at a just ridiculous speed, 458, isn't even ghost walked, does have phase boots going, and he's going to make it there probably in time if they want to continue this up for a Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap, or whatever else kind of combo they would ever want to throw down. And Visage is actually incredibly tanky, so if they try to even take him down, I mean, this could just go quite pear-shaped for them.
Yeah, I love what DGC is doing. They are getting the split push going, putting pressures on multiple lanes, forcing out the BIP lineup to thin themselves out across the map, and then they take the engagement.
Arrow flies.
It's always going to be...
Doesn't land.
They know TJ's there for sure.
Oh yeah, they definitely know he's there. And so they just get the tower and back off.
Like,
easy.
I felt like they could have continued the fight. Without a tower, 3 against 5, yeah. But the thing is, Suitcase doesn't have BKB, so he's not going to be able to take the fight so early.
Arrow
Gotta
flies,
wait for a little longer before those
again,
team fights come out.
Once again, just doesn't land. Yeah, it just seems like Suitcase now biding his time until he has that BKB available, and really until that does happen, they can just kind of sit back, farm all they want, see if they can't avoid those big fights right now, and now that Suitcase pops this Invis, if TJ is a bait, then he's a damn good one because there is nobody around right now, and it seems like Suitcase really does know. They don't really have all the vision in the world, but you do have Kipo fairly close right now. Nature's Prophet now getting in there. They need to know something is up, and TJ absolutely melting. Ooh, but gets out of it with the Manta Orchid, just making sure that that does not finally pop them, not to mention some familiar stuns coming out. And actually, it looks like those familiars can stun even when they are dead. But gonna let Crystal Cross get out of here alive. Necronomicon's doing what they can, but that's a Necro 3 now for the Nature's Prophet. Gonna be doing quite a bit more pressure because of that.
Yeah, and now that... I wonder what TJ is gonna go for. A Deso maybe? Or is it gonna go for Lincolns for more survivability? Because essentially, it will come down to the point where Mirana has to start dealing with like solo pushes. Otherwise, the lanes are gonna always get pushed out. He needs to be able to push on his own. Some of the best item choice, perhaps. Well, the things that will tank up and keep him alive. Otherwise, every time, you already saw what the combo can do. As long as Storm Spirit is in the vicinity, he can just go in, knowing that the Nature's Prophet is gonna come in as well and back him up. And with the amount of like lockdowns they have, Mirana can't do very much unless he gets a BKB or Lincoln Sphere. Or just have ultra fast leap reactions.
Oh yeah, exactly. But now, I mean, once again, Bananas Pyjamas grouping up. They're going as 5, or at the very least, mostly 5, and they're just saying, basically, you know, come at me. We have 5. What are you going to do to this ridiculous team fight that we have? And not only that, they're just going to easily take this tier 2, and that's going to open Roche up for them quite heavily, if you think about it. Like, they don't have the best Roshing team by any means. Obviously, if TJ picked up a Deso, that would be a different story. Looks like he isn't going that route, however. But I mean, now, because the TP support is so much more difficult for DGC to come in and contest this, what can they really do? They do know that a Roche is happening. Still going to be incredibly difficult. You never really want to fight in there. Kipo's finished off his Ag, so that is a lot of stuns available as well. So I mean, I just want to see exactly how this goes down. They know that, of course, the rest of DGC is here. This familiar scouting everything out. Not too sure if they want to continue in this fight. And now it looks like they just Moonlight Shadows, try and turn things around. Perez throws down whatever they can do. Vacuum doesn't actually land because of the tornado. Doesn't seem to really matter. Perez, though, is getting out of here fairly alive. They can't quite find him. EMP does go down. And it looks like Senior Hydra caught in the back. That Necronomicon doing quite a bit of work. Crystal throwing down some big Daggons as well. Shrad has his BKB, making a lot of work happen. But Kriz seeming to just not take enough damage to ever fall. As that's happening, Mirana finally does those Necros, really polishing them off quite heavily. And with these familiars chasing down Crystal Cross, there's almost no chance of him getting out of here. The Soul Assumption Cannons are flying as well. Kriz so incredibly low, but no Dagon on cooldown available yet to actually polish him off. So Roche actually gets down to about third of HP, but they decide that they just cannot continue this fight. Kipo eats a Necronomicon warrior, so not the best for him. And if there was a buyback coming out of this Nature's Prophet to finish off a Kipo, that could happen, but doesn't look like that's going to be the route he's taken, and happy just to stay home and stay dead. But overall, I mean, I want to say Bananas and Pyjamas came out on top.
I don't know. We can always look at the goal graph and XP graph, and we'll find out somehow. It feels like they're just maintaining. I would say that was a pretty even fight.
Pretty even.
Yeah, so Invoker went down really fast, and then DGC supports went down, and there was so many things happening. It was hard to keep track, but it did feel like it was generally okay in terms of XP. It seems like it's gone up a little bit for VIP.
Yeah,
but gold,
ever so slightly.
Yeah, I would say that was really balanced fight,
Ooh.
and that's kind of scary. If you look at DGC, they're not an ulti dependent lineup, but that was some beautiful.
They know they're Roshing again. Looks like the
Pain
Trents
Frost.
come out. They're trying to make something happen, or at the very least stop it. Maybe deny the Aegis at the very least. Looks like, ooh, you do have Storm going in. Can't quite find anything. Mirana actually gets the Aegis, and now Phoenix with absolutely no Chain Frost. Can't really do too much. Shad still has BKB going up. Suitcase, though, polishing up whatever he can, but TJ doing just too much damage and also has an Aegis. Absolutely cleaning up here. Not to mention the fact that this wall goes down right in the metal. Shad now absolutely falling. TJ will finally fall. Kipo, he's just been throwing out Soul Assumption Cannons left, right, and center. No familiar stuns available at that moment. So, I mean, not too good, but I mean, still DGC losing 4. They get the Aegis on TJ at the very least, but that has got to be going in favor of BIP right now. They get the Roche. They actually do. Wait, did the Roche kill actually go to the Dire?
Let's see.
Yeah, can you look
Not too
back
sure.
there?
Nope. Sally. I'm checking the log, but it's not. I have an empty combat log, so I don't know. but if you actually think about it, is BIP still really that far ahead? That fight, EGC, they just went in and they got a good team fight out of it, even when BIP had all the big ults ready. So, and DGC isn't that big team fight lineup as we're talking about. They didn't have the Chain Frost in that second fight around. So, I wouldn't say DGC's by any means are out of the game. In fact, I would say they have a very good shot at winning this one. The more it drags, it just feels like both teams, it really comes down to the execution. But I have to mention, I'm not a big fan of getting... Oh, they keep the mid-tier 1 alive as well, even though... Never mind. But Senior Hydra, I'm not a big fan of rushing the Aghanim Scepter on Invoker. I felt like having a Sheepstick, or even a BKB Invoker, would have been a lot more useful to the team. Because Invoker, apart from being really fancy, throwing down so many spells, what do you really need up against DGC's lineup? And I felt that you need the lockdown. So I would say a Sheepstick would have been a lot more useful. Or even a Necro 3. I mean, if you're going to go for the push, big team fight, you already have Necro books coming out of Darkseer. Why not get a set for Invoker as well? Later on, you're going to have the Force Spirits, and you're going to have Force Spirits as well as the Necro books pushing. I mean, personally, I do love Aghanim Scepter on Invoker because you can do so many tricks with it, and then if you get Refresher afterwards, you are just like... You are just so... Bleak. You got the styles. I mean, just look at the hair, and you know what you can do. But ultimately, just in terms of like playing tournament games and winning them, I would much prefer to see a Sheepstick first, and then like as a core, and then Aghanim Scepter as an extension later on when he has the levels, fully pull off those big combos.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you. Not only that, I mean, Invoke is actually it's actually only been leveled up once. So while that Eggs is going to help quite a bit, it's not going to give him the huge rapid that it's going to do. It's pretty much just going to make up for the fact that he doesn't have levels in it right now. So I mean, he's still not going to be throwing. He's still not going to be chain gun spelling by any means. TJ though, he's picked up a Monkey King bar, and now it looks like they're finally realizing, you know what, BKB is, despite the fact that they're, I mean, they do have some good melee damage, or I shouldn't say melee, just some good right-click on DGC. A lot of it is spell damage right now, so BKB's, I think, the way to go, and at the moment, every single hero looking, except possibly Senior Hydra, like they're going to be basically heading towards that. Kipo has picked up a pipe, so he's going to be incredibly strong, combining with that Gravekeeper's Cloak. He doesn't really need to worry about spells himself. TJ, though, it looks like with this Ogre Club, I suspect quite heavily a BKB out of him. Even Sand King wants to be going BKB, so, I mean, like you're saying, once this goes a little bit later, DGC does seem poised and ready to do quite well, but if every single person on BIP gets a BKB, that's going to really neuter what DGC can throw at them.
Yeah, this is already a carry Visage. He just needs one more level. People often underestimate the hero. I know we've talked about it, but I just love Visage. So strong. Visage carry for the win. Fingers crossed. Oh, and that arrow barely misses Suitcase.
Yeah, just touches his chin hairs, obviously, and now they're just piling on the damage. These familiars, along with the Necro, they actually just take the tower for free. No fortification being used. We do have a wraparound going on, however, out by DGC, and they're all the way in the back now. Shad popping that BKB immediately. Who can get the most spells down? EMP falls. Phoenix has absolutely no mana. Perez can't contribute to this at all as well. Shad trying to live through everything, but now this wraparound just turning out not very well for them at all. The only one really living well, Suitcase right now. Big buyback from Shad to get back into this, but Crystal Cross can't even find anybody. Both Invoker and Sand King falling, but I mean, I don't know if really that's going to be enough at the moment. Does anybody have buyback on DGC? Actually, no. The only one who did was Shad, and he already did it. So it looks like this is going to be, they actually already got one rack. Shad now in a little bit of trouble. If these familiars have any stuns available, it could go really nicely. Now, big zip in by Suitcase. Doesn't have quite that much mana, however, and now absolutely melting. These soul assumptions coming out are just ridiculous. And he's just cannoning throughout every single fight. Buyback coming out of Nature's Prophet now to try and finish things up. And Kipo doesn't even care. Look at how much damage he can take. This Gravekeeper's Cloak combining with Pipe of Insight, he just absolutely doesn't care. As that's happening, Suitcase does find a Chris right now, however. Kipo finally gonna fall, but oh, never mind, not quite, and then finally does to Suitcase. So DGC able to actually turn the tide near the very end there, but I mean, at what cost? Lots of buybacks coming out. Shad did it, not to mention this Storm Spirit as well as Nature's Prophet. They also lose the racks, so out of all that, I'm just going to look at this difference in gold at the moment, and it is just starting to continually climb for Bananas and Pyjamas experience-wise. Pretty nice up at the beginning, and then things start to turn a little bit south, and that pretty big mountain starting to dip a smidge. So DGC's, I mean, it's not out of this game, but with one lane of racks down, it's going to be pretty hard for them, considering that, as far as I'm concerned, Bananas and Pyjamas is going to continually be knocking on their door pretty much all day long. Invoker's finished up his Ags. Sand King, do you have your BKB? Not quite, but he's not far off. Let's see. Who else? Who else would need to be? Oh, and Marana. Damn close to that BKB as well. So, I mean, both of them only about 400 or so gold away, and both of them quite capable of farming really quickly. So the next team fight, both Sand King as well as Marana are going to have BKBs under their belts, and that might be enough to actually push in and really polish off DGC.
Oh yeah. I mean, Crystal Cross done a good job of split pushing. Has just needs a little bit more for that sheepstick, and I'm just hoping he can make some magic happen with that. The magic stick. Oh, that sounds so bad. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, it's alright, not the end of the world. Chris actually needs to be a little bit careful here, obviously. One big zip in with an Orchid, not to mention a follow-up out of Crystal Cross, would be enough to polish him off. And we've seen that time and time again. Sprout is just absolutely destroying Chris right now. And it looks like the BKB is down on TJ. Sand King has just, where is it? He's just waiting around, casting up a sandstorm till he gets his. Finally has just enough gold, and now with that, they're all grouping up, already trying to push in this, always knocking on this tower, and you just gotta wait now for Sand King to make his way there. Gonna be blinking all day long, and just try and get there as fast as humanly possible, or I should say, as scorpionly possible. And as soon as that happens, we'll see another big team fight break out as they start to try and take that high ground.
Invisibility.
Why do you think the Mirana went for MKB? I'm just thinking about the item choice. Because essentially, like, when you're looking at Deso versus MKB, right? Obviously, everyone knows Deso is so much more cost effective. As well as the fact that if you want to push towers, shouldn't Deso be the item of choice? And no one's gonna have, what, evasion from DGC. Well, not in the, not anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know, a little bit of an odd choice. They do get the tower, and these familiars, are you gonna get resummoned? Yes, indeedy, right away. So we won't be seeing any sort of crazy stunts out of Visage. Suitcase, though, BKB immediately melts, can't live through anything. Chainfrost finally does land. Shad trying to do his very best, but look at this giant Scorpion doing his very best as well. Shad, though, living forever. Looks like he's really trying to take down Senior Hydra. Does finally polish him off. Kriz, though, that is a 4-for-1 trade, and with that, how are these buybacks looking once again? And none of the Dire have it, and there's the GG. So right off the bat, Bananas and Pyjamas, B1 and B2, they're coming out to an early lead in this second round semifinals. One game going towards them, and DGC just not able to find the pickoffs that they really needed there, it looks like.
Did you see how much those familiars just did to the Storm Spirit? It was insane, man. Like, that's why Visage, the secret carry.
Oh yeah, just secret little carry Visage at the end there. But of course, thank you everybody for tuning in to this ESPL weekly series. I have been your caster Briefcase. Along with me is Mito, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the second game of this semifinals best of 3 in, I don't know, 5 minutes? So stay tuned everybody, and thanks for watching.